we got a good warm-up going on right now, and now it's time to get you guys a little more acquainted with the high bomb that Rory used to blow over those trees just this week at the BMW Championship. So let me get my driver here. For many of you thinking about, well, you know, I'm kind of hitting the ball a little too low, I need more loft. Many of the adjustments that you want with the driver can be done very much with your technique. And many of you don't realize how easy this is. So if, let me bring this back a little bit. Now, when I put the ball on a tee, that ball is in the air. So have a look at the video I did with Golf WRX called Driver, Speed, and Smash, Shawn Clement, Golf WRX. And we talk about a ball on a string, and that ball on a string is tracking a nice arc. And that arc is passing in front of you, and you see the blur of that arc. And what you do is you need to be aware of where the bottom of that arc is. The bottom of my arc is over here. That's basically what I want. So now it feels like I'm going to be bottoming out the arc here without hitting the ground, and then catching the tip of that tee on the way up and in the direction I want the ball to go. So you can see the tip of the tee here. So if I give this a whirl, and see how I'm just nicking the tip? So if you're able to nick the tip of the tee on the way up like that, well, if you catch the tip of the tee with the bottom of the club, you'll be stamping that ball in the center of that club face all day. So I'm never focused on the ball. I'm always focused on using the ball on a string, ball, string, to clip through the tip of the tee over an intermediate point into a specific height. The height that you're going to hit on is supremely important. If you look at the video I did, best lesson I ever got from Mo Norman. Mo Norman was a specialist at hitting heights of the shot. He says, the more I go like this, the more this goes away. And he's absolutely right on that. So instead of curving the ball around the trees with a driver is a lot more difficult to draw because you've got such little loft and little margin for error there. But if you bomb it over the trees, you're looking at a height now, and that height sets you up. So we have a nice tree line here on our driving range. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the different heights of the trees, and you'll see the different launch angles that I'm going to be going on. So let's say I'm going to go with just a flat line just to the top of the trees. So you'll notice instead of setting up like this, I'm going to set up right over here. So now it feels like I'm going to be sweeping through the tip of the tee along the surface of the ground in the direction of that intermediate point. And I'm just looking at the very top of the trees right now. So I'm staying with that. And that was nutted. Just a little push draw. And, you know, distance on that is pretty gosh darn good. So 282 carry. So let's look at that analysis here right out of the gate. Nice first drive. Only 0.3 up. 10 degrees launch, 1800 RPM. I caught that a little high on the face. Not too bad. Gave me a little gear effect. And it started it off, you know, that's exactly how the ball should fly if I hit a little high and a little toward the toe. But topped out at 309, and it's pretty much down the right center of the fairway. So you could see my launch angle at 0.3, it's pretty much flat with the ground. That's what I pictured. So now if I take and I add one tree line, so this is top of the trees. This is 2 tree lines up. So now 2 tree lines up, see where I'm starting? It feels like the low point is here, and I'm going to catch the ball, the tip of the tee slightly on the way up over that. And it feels like I have access to twice the height of the trees. And I'm going to stay with that particular picture. Now we got 2 tree lines up. Just a hair off center. This is my first 2 drives of the day. And still not too bad, 295 down the middle. So not too bad, right in the center. Now I'm 4.4 up. So the launch angle, if you want optimal launch angle, see, 4.4 up. Now my launch angle here is at 12 degrees and just a little bit more spin, 2600 RPM. Very small draw. My path was in to out. Club head speed is 113. All right. So if I wanted to go higher than that, now I'm going to take that and bring it more over here. And now I'm looking for 3 tree lines up. Now Rory was pretty much on that line right there. So let's look at 3 tree lines up right now in that direction. That feels like the tip of the tee is pretty good over that intermediate point in that direction. That was 3 tree lines up. Very nice. Back over 310. Now my carry has just bumped up to 290. My launch angle is 7 degrees. So you see that? Isn't that fun? So 7 degrees, now my launch, my angle of attack, 7 degrees up. Launch angle is at almost 15. And there's my pattern, so it's pretty good. Between center and toe, that's pretty standard. And had a little more gear effect because it was a little bit more in the toe. Face was 3 degrees close to my path, so everything's good. So carry was 290, topping out at 313. Club head speed now is 115 miles an hour. So I'm getting a little more warmed up. And the moonshots that are a lot of fun to hit, if I want to go, my max is pretty much 6 tree lines up. And that's, it's always fun to be able to demonstrate that. And when somebody has 5 degrees down angle of attack, you have the tools to show them on how to get to that particular height. So now I'm over here and I'm looking at there's my window. And you're thinking, that's impossible until you try it. Then you realize, oh, I can get to that cloud up there. Oh, I can get to that plane up there. It's a lot of fun. So I got my setup. I've got my 6 tree lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Yeah, 5.5. Still in the air. Woo, look at that. 325. I caught a carry on that one of 300 yards. A little high on the toe, that's fine. But now I'm 8 degrees. Let's go look at this puppy. So, launch angle, 19.7. 1800 RPM, 300 carry. So, still quite solid on the face. And height, how about that? 162. So, we have the driver speeds from 163, ball speed, basically 161 to 163. Launch angles from 10, 12, 14 and a half to 19 and a half. And then you keep going down the line here. The spins are pretty good, between 1800 and 2500, depending on where I hit it in the face. And then we look at the height. Peak height, 72, 108, 120, 162. And then we look at the carries of 282, 275, 290, and 301. So that's basically it, between 280 and 300 carry. And then, you know, the total distance right there, depending on the spin, we're going from, you know, anywhere between 295 and 325. So for those of you who haven't been to our premium channel yet, we've got, you know, some really super videos on throwing the club, and like the shortstop throw and the javelin throw and the hammer throw that's coming out this week. So in order for you to catch the heights that you want to catch, it's just like throwing a club. And you'll notice the tilt angle of your body. Now, if you're throwing the club at the ball, well, this would be you throwing the club at the ball. That's like throwing an axe to split wood instead of throwing an axe to chop down a tree. And then you can just choose the angle at which you want to take that wedge out of the tree with. So if I want to throw out there low, it's going to look like this. Low throw at the height, just at the poles of the flag sticks. So a nice throw, nice and low. So how that came out? Now, I want to go higher, slightly above the trees. So I'm seeing the height that I want to throw it out there with. That went right above the tree line. And it went a little farther than the previous one because the angle of attack was better. If you look at a hammer throw in the Olympics, that's the same way they operate. And then if I wanted to go 3 times the tree line, so notice now I'm getting ready to throw it much higher. Well, you see my tilt is much deeper. And this is what allows me to throw the club up there. If my head was tilted this way, and you see this on the range all the time, you see somebody getting ready to hit the golf ball, and you notice how the head is tilted forward and looks like they're going to stick the club in the ground. And inevitably, often they do. So here, I can't stick it in the ground. And I have that huge opening toward the target. Now, oh, there it is. There's the 3 tree lines, or sorry, the 6 tree lines up. So I'm throwing over the trees, slightly over the trees, into the trees, or over the flagstick. And you see the difference in the tilt when I'm doing that. So when I have the tee on a specific height, and I have my arc tracking around that nice center, so I feel now I can catch it, there we go, along the ground, 2 tree lines, 3 tree lines. At one point, obviously, you can't go any higher because you're going to smack it into the ground and drop kick it into the ball. So depending on the height of the tee that you're playing, depending on the driver that you're using, obviously, loft on the driver has no bearings now, does it? I have mine. I have a 9-degree driver that I crank down to 7.5, and I can hit it the height I want. So it's about a driver that you love the feel of, and that's, you know, that you're going to get a nice sound, nice feedback. That Ping 410 driver is off the charts amazing. And it's that's going to give you the ability to work the heights. So I hope you enjoyed this very valuable driver video. And now you can appreciate how Rory and Justin Thomas and the other guys are using the tree lines to improve their accuracy with the driver. All the best.